Hi everybody, welcome to another Yarn Scrap Friday with me, Laura, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to do the invisible decrease, and that's going to apply to the single crochet, the half double crochet and the double crochet. Okay, so what I've got here is I've just got a normal strip of single crochet stitches. This pattern's in US terminology. So this is just a normal strip of single crochet. So this could be in a flat project that you're working on, or working on an amigurumi project. Really doesn't matter. What we normally do with a single crochet decrease is we go into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, stop, go into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and that does make a perfectly good decrease. And this tutorial isn't really sort of pro invisible or pro non-invisible, because really it depends on the project you're doing and what effects you want to make. So, but sometimes when making an amigurumi project, the little traditional single crochet decrease can look a little bit chunky. So we do a few of those traditional ones here. You can see they start to look just a little bit bulky. There's a lot of yarn going on in there in that decrease. So to do the, if I just move over a little bit, to do the invisible single crochet decrease, we do something a little bit different. So I'm just doing some normal single crochets to move along so you can see better. See there, it looks a little bit chunky, the traditional one. So the invisible one, what we do is, instead of going all the way through the stitch under both the loops, we just go under the first loop, there. But then we stop, we don't do anything else, and we're just going to move our hook over and go under the next front loop as well. Okay, so you've effectively gone under 2 front loops. I'll show you that again. And the reason you don't go through all the way through is it's quite hard to move over to the next stitch. So we just go under one bit of yarn, that front loop. So instead of both loops, as in a normal decrease, we go under the front loop only, and then we go under the next stitch front loop as well. See? So I'm just going under the next front loop as well. So there we go. So you've gone under 2 front loops of the next 2 stitches. Then we yarn over, we bring our yarn through that front loop and then through the next front loop. And we've got 2 loops. Then we just do our single crochet as normal. So we yarn over, pull through both loops. So this tutorial has been much requested. I don't usually use the invisible decrease in my projects because it's just a little bit more complicated, so I like to keep my projects more simple. But if you do want a cleaner finish, then as you can see there, that decrease pretty much looks exactly the same as these normal single crochets. You almost wouldn't know there was a decrease, but there you can clearly see the chunky decrease of the traditional decrease. So I'll show you that again. So what we do, instead of going under both loops, we go under the front loop of the next stitch, then move over to this next stitch here and just hook under the front loop of that stitch. Okay, so you've gone under 2 front loops. There's front loop there and the front loop there. Okay, then we yarn over and we bring our yarn underneath that front loop, then underneath that front loop, then you're left with your 2 loops and you do a single crochet as normal. So you just yarn over, pull through 2. And if I crochet normally to the end, I'm just going to do some normal single crochets to the end. 1, 2, see how many stitches I've got left? 3. So I've just crocheted normally to the end. And if I pull up, you can see that these decreases here, you virtually cannot see where the decrease has happened. They look like normal single crochets. Okay, whereas there, on the traditional one, they clearly stand out a little bit more, and they look a little bit more chunky because they're carrying more yarn. Okay, so now I'm going to move on and show you the half double crochet and the double crochet. It's pretty much exactly the same technique, but instead of doing a single crochet once you've gone for the front loops, you just do a half double crochet or a double crochet. So I'm just going to do half double crochets, just do some normal half double crochets. so we can see the differences. Okay, let's do about 4 of those. Okay, so when you do a half double crochet invisible decrease, well, first of all I'll show you the traditional one. We yarn over, go into the stitch as normal, bring the yarn through, yarn over, go into the stitch as normal, bring the yarn through. So this is a traditional half double crochet decrease. Yarn over, pull through loops, all loops. I'll do that again. Yarn over, bring the yarn through, yarn over, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through all 5. Okay, so that's the traditional half double crochet decrease. So we're crocheting 2 stitches together, and as you can see there is a lot of yarn there. It's really quite chunky and it looks quite different to these normal half double crochets. So if I move over to a few normal half double crochets, I will show you the half double crochet invisible decrease. Okay, so that's some normal stitches there. Okay, so the half double crochet is pretty much exactly the same as the single crochet, but we yarn over first and then we go into that front loop only. Same thing again, move over to the next stitch and go onto the front loop of that stitch. I've got quite a stringy yarn, probably not a good idea. So there we go, we've got our yarn over there and then front loop. Then we bring the yarn through that front loop, which I haven't gone under properly, so let's do that again. Okay, so yarn over, go onto that next front loop, move over to the next stitch and go onto that front loop, bring the yarn through that front loop and through that front loop. It's exactly the same as a single crochet, but you're left with 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 to do a normal half double crochet. So I'll show you that again. We yarn over, go into the next front loop only, and we don't yarn over or anything, we literally go over to the next stitch. So you have to be careful to remember to not do anything. Same with the single crochet, just go straight into the next front loop. Bring the yarn through that front loop and through that front loop. You've got 3 loops left, that's where you yarn over, pull through all 3. Then I'll half double crochet to the end and then show you the difference between the 2 decreases. So it's exactly the same technique, and then you just do your stitch, whatever stitch you're doing, you just do it at the end when you've gone through the front loops. So there we go. So there's the invisible half double crochet decrease. You pretty much can't even tell which ones are half double crochets and which ones are decreases. The only way of telling is really looking at the bottom, and you can see it's carrying 2 stitches. But if you move over here, you can clearly see these standing out. They're quite chunky. So that's the half double crochet invisible decrease compared to the normal decrease. And I'll show you for the double crochet, and it's exactly the same technique. Let's do some double crochets to begin with, shall we? So pull through 2, pull through 2. So this is a double crochet. Let's do a few normal ones so we can compare. And a normal double crochet decrease, what we do is we yarn over, go into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over into the next stitch, bring the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3. So that's a normal double crochet decrease. I'll do that again. This is a normal one. Pull through 2, stop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through all 3. So hopefully you're familiar with the traditional one. It doesn't look too bad, a little bit chunky, but it doesn't look too bad. It is quite noticeable. So let's do some normal double crochet stitches so we can compare. It shouldn't make a huge difference with the double crochet, because obviously the bigger the stitches, the less noticeable they are. But it's the same technique. We yarn over first, we go under front loop only, so instead of both loops it's just the front loop only. There we go. Then don't do anything again, we go straight over to the next front loop, bring the yarn through that front loop and then through that front loop. You've got your 3 loops, and we do our double crochet as normal. So we yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And there is our invisible double crochet decrease. And I'll show you again. Yarn over into the next front loop. Don't do anything, straight over to the next front loop. There we go, I think that's gone under. Bring the yarn through that front loop. No, I've missed that one. So my yarn's gone too stringy now, I've used it too much. So it's yarn over for us under that front loop, and then this front loop straight over to this one. There we go. Bring the yarn through that front loop, through that front loop. You've got your 3 loops, and you do your double crochet stitch. So whatever stitch you're doing, you just go for the front loops, and then you work the stitch as normal. So it doesn't matter what stitch it is. So we yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 for a double crochet. Then I'll just double crochet to the end so you can see the difference. Okay, so bring my yarn up. So there we go. There is the invisible double crochet decrease, and as you can see, it's really hard to tell the difference. They literally look like normal double crochets, but over here you can clearly see almost like you've got 2 stitches worked for those decreases. There they are, 2 and 2. So shouldn't be, maybe a little bit gappier maybe, but overall a neater, more invisible finish. You wouldn't know you've done a decrease. So there we go. So that's how you do the single crochet, half double crochet, and the double crochet invisible decrease. And it really depends on what effect you want to make and the differences it can make. For example, I've got a little booty here, and I'll show you the example. So this little pattern is going to be an exclusive little booty pattern on Love Knitting, if you want to check out the link in the description below. As you can see here, I've done an example with, these are half double crochet decreases. So this is the one in the middle, half double crochets. And as you can see, it's created quite almost a bobbly effect when working the decreases around the front. But for the actual shoe, yes, this is the finished item, the little rose and leaves. And as you can see underneath, I've done the invisible half double crochet decrease. It's created a much smoother, less bobbly finish compared to the traditional decrease. So it really depends on what effects you want to make. You might want a bobbly finish, or you might want a nice, clean, smooth decrease finish, especially on very smaller items such as booties or amigurumi. But in my videos I will continue to use the traditional method because it's just easier for my beginners. But if you want to do something a little bit more advanced, then I do highly recommend checking out and trying the invisible decreases. So there we go. But I will see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.